Hey, whoa, what's up, everybody? It's Dominic D'Angelo. I'm of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and hey, OneTrueSportTV.com. It's Friday, and I am flying Dom solo today. It's just me. You're dealing with me. But it's cool to be live here with everybody. Shout out to some folks in the comments section. We got Willie Thornbrew here. I'm going to SmackDown in Portland tonight. Whoa! And I wonder if John Cena will bother to make his last appearance in Rip City. Man, you a Trailblazers fan, Willie? I always liked the Trailblazers. I liked Clyde the Glide Drexler, obviously. My gosh, who's the one guy I really liked too a lot? He was more of a recent player. Gosh darn it. I can't remember. But shout out to the Trailblazers. Triple E, anyone that writes a bad comment about Dom is a jealous hater. Dom's a great podcaster, producer. We wouldn't even have some of these Legends podcasts without him. Y'all check out the dope promo video. Yeah, I did a little promo for IWC, International Wrestling Cartel. January 18th, IWC Reloaded. I will be there doing a little commentary. Marcus, my degenerate brother, will be involved in some capacity as well. But that's going to be in Elizabeth, PA, just right outside of Pittsburgh. So go to IWC Wrestling on social media and check out all the information you can. But thank you, Triple E. I really appreciate that. It's very nice of you. I had a fun little promo, a little biblical promo with Samson and Delilah. So be sure to check that out if you're follow me on X. You can go at Dominic D'Angelo there. Willie says, it's my first live wrestling show since before the pandemic. Wow, good for you. Look, WWE does a wonderful job when it comes to their shows. I can't speak highly enough of they just did a live event in Pittsburgh last week. No, 2 weeks ago. And man, such a fun experience. If you get to go to like a live show that's not televised, that's the way to do it because you get crowd interaction. And hey, if you have the money to do it, I would splurge a little bit on getting closer seats. If you're gonna, I would just keep your eyes peeled. Anybody that's looking to go to a W Live event, check out, see if it's worth your budget, fits your needs, and check it out because it's a lot of fun if you're really invested into the WWE product right now, and I'm sure a lot of people are. Johnny Disco says, "Happy SmackDown Friday, R&I." Dre Owens adds, "It's Friday. You know what that means? R&I Solo Edition. That's it." Yeah, Robert is on assignment. He's on quite the assignment, too. Let me just say that. Cammy Star, damn it, Dom, teach Robert how to live in cold. My goodness, it is freezing in Pittsburgh right now. It's like 5 degrees. I got up at like 7 this morning and went to Starbucks, and I could literally feel my beard freezing. It was like the ice bowl kind of deal. Willie is a Trailblazers fan. I have a Trailblazers tattoo. That's awesome. So such a sweet logo, sweet color scheme. You're really making me want to charge up NBA 2K23. I think I have on my Xbox and do like a fantasy draft, but with the Trailblazers. Magnum and TA episode. Yes, today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You go to fourhorsemannetwork.com. Greg Gagne, Magnum TA, and I will be live. We'll take fan questions. Let's make this our biggest episode of the year so far, huh? Lots to talk about. W Netflix with them and everything. So, geez, I'm doing plugs already. Devin says it's 19 degrees here in northern New York. Was 3 degrees. Yeah, so you're going through the same thing now. It's about probably 20 degrees right now here in Pittsburgh. But, yeah. Some interesting stuff today when it comes to wrestling. We got the SmackDown preview, and not a whole lot to really preview. We got Shinsuke Nakamura defending his United States Championship against LA Knight. Yeah, and that's a good way to headline a SmackDown. I think I really love what they're doing with Shinsuke right now. I don't think I'm the only one either. I think this great heel gimmick he's got, like taken away from like the Michael Jackson rock star kind of vibe he was giving out to this samurai with ties to Great Muta, I think really elevates who he is. Like I could almost see him. I mean, this might be after and obviously he's with the United States Championship, but this kind of look, feel, everything, you could put the world title on him with this and have a really, really memorable, fun run where it's like the thrill of the chase kind of thing for somebody else, you know. Makes me think, now I know the rules are reversed, but is it oh my gosh, please correct me if I'm wrong on this, because is it Hayabusa? Not Hayabusa. Hayabusa, the guy with the tattoos all over, or the markings all over, the Japanese script all over him, that Bret Hart face. I feel like such a moron that I don't know his name, but I love that little like sidetrack that they did kind of with Bret and him. They gave him a little feud. I would love to see. Is it Haikushi? Is it Haikushi? Is it really? Wow, I was really off with that. But I liked that sidetrack that they did, that the new generation did back then. I thought that was really, really cool. Sure hope I could see. Could you guys see the world title on this Nakamura at some point? I think that would be great. Devin Dallin says Tyson Tomko. It wasn't him. Haikushi, thank you. And man, look at you. This is kind of condescending. This is research guy Andrew. Research guy Andrew, shout out to him. He does the research for the Orange Show, host of Medusa's podcast too as well. Haikushi, I feel like I'm in like grade school. But yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Hey, fair enough. But yeah, I could see the world title on Nakamura like this. You just keep the run with him and have him. Yeah, he can beat LA Knight here. Cheating, anything like that. Be interesting to see what they kind of do with LA Knight. I think it's high time for LA Knight to he's over right now. He is. The crowd gives him a good reaction. I appreciate his look. I appreciate kind of like the attitude and personality he gives off. But it's time for like a little bit of a change, a little bit of a pivot, a little bit of a evolution on LA Knight right now. And hopefully this will do it, because I don't know. I think, he's kind of, it was weird. It was weird to see him on WNet Raw. There's The Rock in the ring. The Rock is dressed like The Rock, the final boss. Say what you will about what the content he provided there, when it comes to the promo and everything like that. But LA Knight was there at ringside later on, and it just like, oh, there's LA Knight, who's also kind of like The Rock, and The Rock is in the ring. It just made you think a little bit, made me think a little bit at least. Like, LA Knight's got to think about something. He's got to think about what his next move is and how to kind of stand out and how to kind of elevate himself again. I think he's capable of it. I do. I think, but I think this is going to plateau if he doesn't make changes. Like, he needs to do something here. Let's see. So, yeah, that is the only match previewed for SmackDown tonight, the 3-hour SmackDown. I was going to ask Robert if he was here today, if he thought that the way they promote SmackDown now, like they have been promoting SmackDown and have been promoting Raw these past months, where just like 1 or 2 matches get announced. Is that good to do with this SmackDown being 3 hours on a Friday? Does that benefit the brand, or do you need to do a little bit more making announcements of what people can expect on a Friday night on SmackDown on USA Network? It's different structure. You're not on Fox. You're not 2 hours. You're 3 hours, and you're on cable television. So does WWE need to kind of rethink of how they promote SmackDowns moving forward? I mean, if this week's any indication, maybe not. I don't know, because you're riding off the momentum of Raw, and then you're riding off that momentum you got too from NXT on Tuesday. The Rock is not advertised for SmackDown, and he will not be there, I'm sure. But NXT got a huge boost. The record numbers from September 2019. And So it's just like, and that's because of The Rock, and The Rock kind of called everybody out. He was just like, hey, let's go along for the ride on this one when it comes to Cody and everything like that and what he said. And you know what? I like The Rock so much. He can obviously get me back invested in anything that he does. So I'm very, whether he'll be at WrestleMania or not. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's going to really be involved, but you never know. You never know. It's been a wild landscape here for WWE, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But Tiffany Stratton obviously will be there. I think she is advertised tonight, and rightfully so, because last week she won the WWE Women's Championship, cashing in her Money in the Bank, her Tiffy in the Bank at the behest of Nia Jax after pulling a fast one on her. Really excited for this. I think Tiffany is somebody you can really build a brand around. And she's set up very nicely for this. Royal Rumble is forthcoming. Lots of speculation that Charlotte Flair will be returning at any moment. Could it be tonight? Could it be at Royal Rumble? Either way, I don't think you could really go wrong. I think if you really want to ride off the momentum of Tiffany, though, have Charlotte show up tonight. Create that intrigue. Already build that story. Will Charlotte be the one to win the Royal Rumble and get that title shot against Tiffany? I think there is some legs, obviously, you can have with Tiffany versus Nia Jax, but do you want to position Tiffany as a babyface right now? Or do you want to make her this heel? Be really interesting to see what happened. Devin Dallin says, if you can let me know where Alexa Bliss is rumored to be back. But yeah, I could imagine she would be back here at any point. Obviously, Becky Lynch too, but that's on Raw likely. Alexa is such a wild card, like a fun wild card. Oh my God, that's so funny. I said that name and the other one chimed in here. But yeah, I think wherever they decide to put her, Bliss, I'm just going to call her Bliss. I think that will be, it'll be really, really intriguing to see if they get her in the mix with the Wyatt Six or whoever, Okay. Well, not going to speak for What Culture. I know they kind of do a lot more like speculation content when it comes to stuff. So I don't think they don't necessarily report a whole lot of stuff. I think they kind of like, ooh, well, here's some possibilities what we could expect from Miss Bliss if she returns. And so it'll be interesting to see if, I'm sure there's some stuff maybe lined up for her to come back, but hey, you know what? Having a child changes life, like especially for a woman when it comes to that. You're a mother. You're thinking about your priorities kind of change, and rightfully so. I mean, like even Becky taking the time away that she is, I'm sure a lot of that has to do with having her little baby there, and wanting to be a mom and wanting to have that time. We haven't seen the return of Carmella, who's had a baby. Having a kid really, I don't have a kid, but I do know it's not hard to say that it changes your life and for the better. I'm sure these women wrestlers and stars, they get a lot of fulfillment out of having a child, and it really does. I'm sure it changes your perspective on how you view life, how you view your priorities, grounds you a little bit. Puts things in perspective a little bit differently, because wrestling is such a selfish-minded business where it's, hey, I got to get myself over. I got to get things over. I love what I'm doing, but you're in shark-infested waters in certain ways, and that causes some different priorities. Talking with Rob Van Dam all the time, Rob talks about being in that competitive mode when he was in the thick of the action and looking out for himself and trying to protect himself, promote himself, get himself over and navigate those waters, whether he was in ECW or WWE. But then he's out of it and he gives it a different look. Now, Rob doesn't have any kids, but It definitely, you kind of think about stuff and look at things differently when you're out of that game, and you get older and you get wiser. So having a kid is just another aspect of it all, where it's just like, yeah, and it's such a it's such a different time. You think about, like, the women's stars are stars, like, to the level comparable to your top male stars. That wasn't necessarily the case 10 years ago, and back. You know, Now this is adds a whole other element. A top women's star has a child, and their priorities change. Things change, and it really can switches things up a little bit. But yeah, should be interesting. Should be interesting. Let's see. Let's get a Oh my goodness! Look at that, Devin Dallin. My firstborn is coming in T minus 15 weeks. Congratulations! That's awesome. Man, what an exciting time. Yeah, scared but excited. I could only imagine. Well, prayers go out to you, and best wishes. It should be a thrilling time. Nerve wracking, I'm sure, but believe you me, it's a huge responsibility, and I bet you guys can handle it. So, all right, we'll take a little bit more questions here. I'm starring a few things just so I don't forget. But if you guys have some questions, get them in. We'll close this Friday out on a big way. Hey, Cody Rhodes is set to appear tonight too. I imagine it's going to be further propagating the Kevin Owens feud, which is really exciting. I like it. I like that they're making these indirect ties to Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. Obviously, one of my favorite feuds of all time, since I'm a huge Razor Ramon guy. And with that Intercontinental Championship, and then the 2 titles, and Kevin has his own Winged Eagle belt and stuff like that. There's just a lot of neat stuff going on. I think this is doing Cody's world title run right, and whether he wins or loses at Royal Rumble creates a lot of intrigue. Who will face Cody for the world title? Who's going to face Kevin Owens, the new champion? I won't necessarily rule out that Kevin Owens could win this championship at Royal Rumble. Because you know what? Cody's had this great run. It's almost been a year. It's been over half a year. So it's a memorable and solid run. You could put him back in the driver's seat of chasing that championship, going in a different direction. So there's some things. Now, the way The Rock put Cody over, though, at Raw on Netflix, kind of makes it seem like he's going to be the big. They might keep that title on him. You know what I mean? But if you really want to shake things up, Kevin Owens winning that championship could really do that. And you could tell the story, continue a neat story with him and Owens, him and Cody. Cody still finding a way to get back into the mix, whether that's Elimination Chamber or something else. But yeah, should be an interesting SmackDown. I will probably admit I won't watch it live. I will probably DVR it and then watch it after the fact, because it's Friday night and it's 3 hours. Oh, and I got to record with RVD tonight, so yeah, I definitely won't be watching live. But yeah, hey guys, I want to say I broke some news today. So Vince McMahon, he happened to make a settlement. The SEC. The SEC won't let me be me. I know it's the FCC. All right. So Vince McMahon. This is credit to my website, the website I work for, SE Scoop. Shout out to Tom Lawson, who's a great writer for our website. He says ex-WWE chairman Vince McMahon will pay over $1.7 million to the SEC, that is the Securities and Exchange Commission, to settle charges related to undisclosed payment agreements tied to sexual assault allegations. So, in regards to the hush money payments he sent. In the report, the SEC notes that McMahon bypassed WWE's internal accounting controls and caused material misstatements in the company's financial reports for 2018 and 2021. Though McMahon did not admit or deny the SEC's findings, he has agreed to a $400,000 civil penalty and a 1.33 million reimbursement to WWE. So, yeah, Vince McMahon clearly can afford that slap on the wrist basically for him here. But Thomas P. Smith, who is the Associate Regional Director of the SEC's New York Regional Office, had the following to say. Company executives cannot enter into material agreements on behalf of the company they serve and withhold that information from the company's contract functions and auditor. So there we go. Payment was made. Now here's where it gets a little interesting for me. I happened to get an email right after this broke, basically. And it was from Vince McMahon's like strategy team. They had my email. And I got a statement before Vince McMahon posted on his X account before it started really. I might have been the first. I don't know if I was the first or not, but hey, I wrote about it on SCScoops.com, and this is the statement that Vince McMahon had that was emailed to me. The case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. In the end, there was never anything more to this than a minor accounting errors with regards to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put all this behind me. So this has nothing to do. This directly has nothing to do with the Janelle Grant lawsuit. This is all the other matters that have that kind of like, the same thing, with McMahon's been going through with these allegations and stuff like that. So this is put behind him. The Janelle Grant stuff is not. Expected. It's just not. It's not a lot of money for McMahon. That's not a lot of money. So pretty crazy stuff. No, he did not win, Devin. He did not win. This is just something that happened and now settled. And so Vince spun it in a way like, hey, now he did not deny stuff. He just said personal reasons and everything like that. So it's certainly they issued a statement in his favor. Obviously, they're his team, so that's what's going to happen here. And yeah, that's it. We're going to see where things go with this Janelle Grant thing at some point or another. This feels like never ending. But look, like you look at this in tandem the same week, WWE debuted on Netflix. A lot of going into WrestleMania season. It's just such some wild times. What's more here is going to develop. Should be interesting and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty crazy. I was quite shocked to see that in my inbox this morning from his strategy team. And yeah, I guess I sort of broke news before Vince did himself and everything to that effect. So, hey, kind of cool, right? No big deal. I won't get credit for it, which is fine. That's just the way the news cycle works. If you post stuff on Twitter, if you post things like that, it usually gets picked up by bigger outlets. There you go. I did see it was like on Fightful too at some point too, which might have been, they might have got something too at that juncture. I don't know. Hey, but kind of neat either way. All right. Is that all I want to cover? Oh, Nick Nemeth resigns with TNA. This is a report from PW Insider. Let's see if I can pull it up here. TNA champion Nick Nemeth has resigned an extension on his TNA deal. PWInsider.com has confirmed Nemeth's deal would have expired at the start of 2025, but the two sides came to terms on an extension. No word yet on the length of the extension. I think it's a good move by TNA. Obviously, he's their world champion, but Nick Nemeth has such an identifiable look and name in the business. Whether you call him Nick Nemeth or Dolph Ziggler, he is somebody that can really help out of TNA. and has been. He's been their flag bearer. He's been their ambassador, and I think that's a really good thing. It really seems like the right choice, considering the growth that TNA has done over the course of 2024. And yeah, you can say that they made the missteps have happened when it comes to the removal of Scott D'Amore and the removal of that other Anthem guy. Uh, like he's gone, but the guy that they appointed seems like he's more credible than what that other previous Anthem guy was. So there's some positive elements here. TNA, and you get Tessa Blanchard back. You have Joe Henry still under your umbrella for the time being. Jordan Grace for the time being. But you have the Hardys. This is just really good stuff for TNA. And Dolph Ziggler's Nick Nemeth is a big part of that, I think. And so good for him. Good for TNA. Everybody benefits when the promotions and everything are better, and everything feels like a bigger deal. So hopefully this TNA can continue growing and keeping momentum, even if they lose talent. But they're also going to be, I believe they're on Sportsnet now. They made a deal with somebody, something that, which is great. You want to see TNA grow, and hopefully that makes everybody up their game, particularly they have the ties to WWE, but maybe this will cause a little bit of pause with AEW and what they're doing too, as if TNA keeps getting momentum going and going and going. So it's got it. If you think about what they do with Tessa, maybe with the Knockouts division and how they continue to cultivate a name, and they were notorious before NXT really caught on, before the women's division got stacked in WWE. It was the TNA Knockouts. They were the premier women's division in pro wrestling. So I think it'll be good stuff. So hat tip to TNA, and hope they continue riding this momentum and doing the cool live shows that they do. I believe too that they're doing a live Impact again. That they had something they have not done in years. So really good stuff. I know they're set to do Los Angeles and New York at some point here in 2025. Prayers out to everybody too in Los Angeles being affected by those fires. My goodness, see so many people in the Palisades. I think it's the Palisades. Is that what it's called? Just completely wiped out. Like people evacuating. Thankfully, a lot of people are safe. We did have some tragic losses when it comes to that, and prayers go out to their families. But it just really puts things in perspective of how quick things can go. And hey, a lot of this houses are just wood and brick, but people have built their lives there, and to have that all torn down, and the neighborhood you're living in and have been there for a long time, it really causes a lot of pause with what is important in life. And you think, I just even made me consider, I'm in an apartment complex here. This is an apartment, a first floor apartment. So there's other people living all around. Something goes, this whole thing goes. And I have a lot of my possessions here, but I got Razor here, my cat. It's just makes you think about a lot of stuff, and just how quick anything can change. So prayers out to everybody. If you have the ability to support and give out to people affected by those fires, or by North Carolina too. Let's not forget what happened in Asheville, and the AEW didn't, with Fight for the Fallen and everything like that. Those people really need help as well. So I'm going to make it a point to donate to both areas at some point here too. So if you can too, do the same. All right. Is that all I have to say? I do have a little stuff to say about smelling good. Look, I'm wearing this Cosby sweater. I'm Pittsburgh themed. I want to make sure I smell good too here. And Mando does that for me. I love Mount Fuji. I use the deodorant stick every dang day, even though you don't necessarily have to, because it has 72-hour lasting ability. So I have the deodorant stick. I have the spray too. I have the spray, and the spray is really nice. This is not overpowering scents either. It's like you feel like an adult wearing this kind of stuff. So, fake it till you make it. But Manda will help you do that. But you will self-assuredly smell good. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. So, like I did with my nephews, I bought this for them for Christmas. I got them a starter pack, and they loved it. Particularly my oldest nephew, Aiden. Shout out to him. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off of your starter pack. Use code RUMOR at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that Rumor and Innuendo sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. All right, last call for questions here. I will take a quick look at headlines and see if there's anything else I want to touch upon before I close out this Friday edition of Rumor and Innuendo. Oh, hey, how about that? Look at this. Janelle Grant's team issues a statement on Vince McMahon resolving SEC charges. Let's see what Janelle Grant's team said. So, Janelle Grant's team issued the following statement. This is according to Fightful, and this statement is from Ann Callis, attorney for Janelle Grant, on confirmation from the SEC that Vince McMahon violated the law. Okay, here we go. Where is this at? Where's the statement? All right. During his time leading WWE, Vince McMahon acted as if rules did not apply to him. Now we have confirmation that he repeatedly broke the law to cover up his horrifying behavior, including human trafficking. The SEC charges prove that the NDA, Vince McMahon coerced Ms. Grant into signing, violates the law, and therefore her case must be heard in court. While prosecutors for the Southern District of New York continue their criminal investigation, we look forward to bringing forward new evidence in our civil case about the sexual exploitation Ms. Grant endured at WWE while by Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. So there you go. That was Ann Callis, the attorney for Janelle Grant, issuing that statement. So they fire back. They keep it. They balance the scales out of what Vince McMahon has to say to what they have to say. So wow, just. Isn't this crazy? This is a crazy. Wrestling is so crazy. Obviously, there's so many wild personalities in there. Vince McMahon's clearly one of them. Very huge impact. Historical impact. You can't argue the what he's done for the wrestling business. You can't. But yeah, it's just wild. Like this situation and everything going on. Nothing. It's so weird to think because I'm a huge sports fan, and I don't know if anybody's seen the FS1 stuff with Joy Taylor and oh my gosh, why am I blanking on Skip Bayless, everything like that. The media, sports media, so much drama going on there. What's happening, and you think about how this stuff is always seems to be constantly going on with wrestling. There's just the backstage scuttlebutt and everything. And, some of this stuff, under the drama of an already scripted drama that is pro wrestling, and you get all this stuff behind the scenes. I mean, like, this is a business based off of the carnival grounds. So it's just like, it's expected, right? But it's still pretty wild to be just in the main forefront. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that Hulk Hogan we grew up watching, and, all these wild elements of like, hey, remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan? You remember the Ultimate Warrior? How about Macho Man? Well, the guy that created a lot of this stuff and promoted it in the biggest fashion, he's done a lot of weird stuff allegedly. So we got to be on the lookout for that. And this is all promising. Hey, Netflix, we're on Raw. We also got this documentary about Vince McMahon. You can check out it too. Pretty interesting. And that is my final thought for today, for Friday. I will take this one question. Dom, why don't you rep the Steelers like you do the Jets? I did not grow up a Steelers fan. I grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan up until 1998, until the New York Jets got their old uniforms back, akin to Joe Namath days. And that put them on the map for me. My dad was a Joe Namath fan. Sure enough, they had an Italian quarterback at the time, Vinny Testaverde, and I became a New York Jets fan. And sadly, I have, because now I'm stuck with them. It's a bad relationship. They are not a good team. They are not a good franchise. Woody Johnson's a terrible owner, and it echoes throughout those halls of Florham Park, New Jersey, and I am stuck liking them. Such disappointing times. I hope they keep Aaron Rodgers for one more year. I hope they hire Rex Ryan, and I hope they coexist. I really do. Think that's kind of, Rex Ryan has handled that circus before, been a part of that circus before. So inserting him back into it might be the best thing for the Jets right now. And if you're going to, why move on from Rodgers when there's not really an answer right now? You cannot draft a quarterback. You're not have a high enough pick to draft a QB. If you do a move at free agency to address the quarterback situation, it's either going to be maybe a lateral move, maybe, or less than. Aaron Rodgers has shown that he can still play. Now, it took him a while. It took him over half the season to kind of get to a respectable rate, and his statistics are pretty good. But he's a big wrestling fan too. I would like to interview Aaron Rodgers someday, actually, about pro wrestling. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not going to rule a lot of stuff out. I think there's big stuff planned for 2025. Robert and Scott, they just recorded Working Stiff yesterday. So they cover AEW Dynamite in detail in comparison to what we did yesterday, me and Robert. So I will... So I can't wait to listen to it. I haven't listened to that. I haven't listened to the full episode that they released earlier this week too. There was 2 episodes of Working Stiff where they cover WWE Raw on Netflix in detail too. So be sure to check that out. You just type in Working Stiff on your podcast listening of choice, and it'll pop on up. As far as this, like I said earlier in the show, I'm going live today with Greg Gagne, and Magnum TA. We'll be talking Raw on Netflix. We'll be talking a lot of different stuff, answering your questions live. Be sure to join us, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 4horsemannetwork.com. That's 4horsemannetwork.com. Be sure to like, subscribe. Get ready for some fun times with Magnum TA and Greg Gagne. And then tonight, me and Rob Van Dam are scheduled to go live too at 9:15 p.m. during SmackDown for the next recording of One of a Kind with RVD. You can join us at rvdtv.com. That's rvdtv.com. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, get the word out. That channel is growing. I'm very happy with how that's been doing and everything like that. So help us all out, and just go along for the ride, and be sure to ask some questions there too. All right, that'll do it. Thank everybody for tuning in this week. It's been a fun one. Be interesting to see what the follow-up to Raw will be on Monday, and what we will get from there. As you know, they've got all the pomp and circumstance of their debut out of the way, so it's nut cutting time. What are you going to do? What are you going to present to your fans on a weekly basis, and how will it be structured? We'll get the first taste of that on Monday. So, but to everyone out there, stay safe. Prayers for everybody in LA. Prayers for everybody in North Carolina. And best of luck, too, in your future endeavors. Get ready for the NFL playoffs this week, too. That should be fun. All right. Go Steelers.